Veganism is the ethical principle that humans should live without exploiting other animals. It's not about loving animals, it's not about compassion. Animals deserve respect regardless of how much you love them, just because they're individuals. It's the same way with yourself. You want other people to respect you even if they don't like you or they hate you. And you are not allowed to kill people you don't like. Now we define what being vegan means. It doesn't mean that you are not on a plant-based diet, because there are people who eat plant-based, but then they wear fur, leather, they go to the zoo, so it doesn't mean that they respect animals. They eat plant-based because maybe they want to be healthier or they care about the environment, right? Being vegan means that you reject the exploitation of other animals and you respect them the same way you would like to be respected yourself. The diet is just a consequence. It has nothing to do with human health, human rights, environment, love for animals. It's only about justice for the animals to address the issue of human supremacy. The mentality that we have as humans, that we are on the top of the chain and we have the power to control all the other animals, even if of course it's not the case, because yes, we might be more intelligent, but it's not because we are more intelligent that then we have to use our intelligence or our strength to oppress others. We can also show strength and intelligence by respecting others the same way we want to be respected.
This is the most important part of the presentation, and that is why we have to be active for the animals. Now let me put it this way. What humankind is doing to animals is by far and large the biggest and most heinous oppression to have ever happened. In terms of scale, we are massacring billions of animals every year. It's just unfathomable the number of animals that are being slaughtered and becoming victims and being exploited. And the thing is, your fellow humans are the reason why this happens. So your friends, family, colleagues, people on the street, over 99% of the population is the reason why these animals are being oppressed. Now, since you're all vegan, this means that you are no longer a part of the problem. You are not the reason why animals are being exploited. However, just by being vegan, you're not a part of the solution. It just means you are not exploiting animals yourself. The only way to be a part of the solution is to speak up for the animals. Now, the tragic thing is that the victims cannot speak up for themselves. There are billions of them, and none of them can voice their own pain and their own suffering. So who will speak up for them? Us, the vegans, because we're the only ones who are able to be a vehicle and to protect them. In terms of examples of activism, there are multiple, and this is not a comprehensive list, but we gave a short list that is very, very intuitive, and that's a good starting point. So you can do street outreach, which is what Anonymous for the Voiceless does. You could join protests, you can make posts on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, etc. You can also do lectures, like the one Gary Yourofsky gave, or you can invite other people to do lectures in your own workplace, for example.
But let's imagine there is a man with a stick and a dog, and the man is just about to kick the dog, right? A non-vegan would just go and help the man hit the dog. That's what they do. They are responsible for animal exploitation and they basically pay for it. A vegan, he would just walk away. He's not responsible for the violence, but he's not even trying to do something to stop it, right? The vegan activist is the one who would go to the man and actively do something against the violence that is about to happen, right? So this is why it's important to take a stance and to do something about it, because the animals need a voice, and we can be their voice. Here we have some benefits when it comes to activism. I'm sure that it happened to all of you, that when you try to talk about veganism with your family or friends, you find some problems because you love them so much that you're afraid to break the relationship between you and them. But when it comes to street activism, the good thing is that it's easier to talk to strangers. First of all, because you will never see them again, so it doesn't really matter what happens between you, because you will never see them again. And the second thing is that you are not afraid of ruining any relationship that's already existing, because again, you don't know them. The second thing is that many activists sometimes start doing activism but then they stop, because you feel like it's useless because you cannot really touch the results immediately, right? But we do make a difference, and there is a domino effect, which means that if today I make vegan somebody else, that person can speak up for the animals as well, and that's the way that all the biggest injustices we have faced in this planet have been solved. And then, of course, like, you're not alone, which means that one of the best benefits for me when I started doing activism was finding a group of people who were doing activism as well, which means that they were like-minded, they had the same values, and it's really powerful when you can find a group of people who can support you. I'm sure that all of you, the regret you have is that you didn't go vegan sooner, right? At least for me, even if I was very young when I went vegan, I always think of like, I spent 12 years of my life paying for animals to be exploited. So when you do activism, you have to imagine that you are that person that somebody else is waiting for to make a change. So your presence there can be life-changing for somebody who is maybe just not aware of what is happening to the animals, and anybody else ever hold them accountable for what happens to them.
You have understood, I hope, the urgency of why we have to do activism. Now, this is not to say that we expect you to be active 100% of the time, every second of the day. No, the moral duty is to be active, but to do it sustainably, for long term. We don't want you to burn out. So here are some pointers that we'd like to give you in regards to how to do this sustainably. So first of all is to find your vegan tribe. So if you don't have an immediate circle of friends or fellow activists who will be understanding your struggles, this will be very, very hard to sustain doing activism. So connect with fellow vegans, just spend quality time with them, and they will understand your struggles because they have gone through them, and most of society doesn't understand the struggles that we're going through. Secondly, most people are unreachable. So 90% of the conversations and the outreach that you're going to have is going to be with people who are just unreachable. Not because they will never go vegan, but because, in my opinion, they're just too conformist to make the change. So they will always have pushback, and unless there is a large enough of society that is vegan, they will never go vegan until there is enough people behind it. But there are people who can think independently and can act independently regardless of their surroundings, which are vegans nowadays, like you, who have decided to become vegan regardless of the pushback that you get from your family and your friends, as well as people who are not vegan yet, but once they hear the message and they hear it loud and clear, they'll make the connection like you have. And last point is, as we said, we don't expect you to be active all time. You have the activism, let's say that's a cube of truth once per week, and then the rest of your week, go ahead, like, relax. You don't need to like entrench yourself with activism all the time. It's about balance. You need to find what kind of balance that is for you. We are doing a small presentation, as part of the large master workshop done by Paul Bashir, the founder of Anonymous for the Voiceless. We really recommend you to go on the website and see the full workshop. We're gonna give a smaller version of it right now, just to give you an initial grounds to stand on.
Who is AV? The most effective animal rights organization existing today, because it has an abolitionist stance. It doesn't talk about health, it doesn't talk about environment, but just about the animals, because the animals need to have an organization focusing on their rights. We do street activism, which means that we go on the streets and we talk to passerbys. The action we do is called Cube of Truth, and it works so that there are some activists who are standing in the cube. So we use this word, which means like the shape of the way people are standing, right? So it can be even one person holding the screen, or two people, like one in front of the other. It has to be like an art installation. It has to be clean, and people who are passing through have to like be interested in what we are doing. So we use the masks as a symbol of a fight against an injustice, and we are showing the standard practices of the meat, dairy, eggs, food industries. So all the ways that humans exploit other animals. Usually we have a music to catch people's attention, and that when somebody is like interested and they stop, they start watching, then there is another group of activists who are the outreach team who go and talk to them. When you talk to people, you have to follow the AV flow chart, so you don't have to be worried about like, oh my god, what am I gonna say now? Like, we have rules, and this is one of the best things about AV, that you're never alone. You always know what to say, how to say it, for how long to say it, because we have rules and we're gonna tell you now what is it about. And then we have photographers and people who make videos. So even if you don't feel like talking, which I understand sometimes can be frustrating when people don't get even the basic things about, decency and ethics, you can always be helpful by just standing in the cube, taking photos and videos, because think of like, you're there, you stand in the cube, which means that people like me and him and people who want to talk can have the chance to do so, because you're there to support us. And also making videos is very important, because today internet, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube can be a very powerful weapon and messenger to spread the message to as many people as possible, of course, and even more than the ones we can reach in the street.
I'll just stress this, the definition of veganism is extremely important to even point out during every conversation, because for most people, including vegans, the definition is that it's about not consuming animal products at all. Again, it is rejection of animal exploitation. We're going to speak again about what vegan outreach is. So again, it is speaking up for the animals in the way that you would want to be spoken for if it was you in their position. Meaning, if it was you that was oppressed, if it was you that was being exploited, you wouldn't want the person who's defending you to not take you seriously. You would want them to speak up for you in a way that is with passion and with conviction, and with regards to your well-being being the number one priority. It's not about the oppressors, it's about the oppressed. You should be a medium of truth, and as I said, to prioritize the victims over being liked by the other person. The bottom line, and this is what we always have to keep in mind, whether you're successful or not comes down to if you manage to hold the person accountable for their actions, or if you didn't. If they understood that they are the reason why animals are being oppressed, if you convey that to the best of your ability, then you've held them accountable. If you are not, this is going to be very direct, but if you're not speaking up for the victims the way that you would want to be spoken for, you're doing an injustice to the animals that you're trying to protect. Again, they're the victims, and the person in front of you is their oppressor. The only way for us to communicate the seriousness of the situation is by holding the other person accountable as far as we can and being serious about it. Non-vegans will never take the matter of veganism more importantly than how we show it. So we absolutely have to show that this is not just a serious problem, it's not food for thought, it is a call to action, and they need to change, and they need to change pronto. You can actually go to the website of Anonymous for the Voiceless, and you can see all the chapters around.